Hi, Scorpio Sun and Rising. Welcome to your February 2025 Astro Update. It's Raina here, and this is a month that we could characterize as the beginning of eclipse season. The official eclipses are occurring in March, and I'm not going to go into the specifics and how it will affect you until then. Well, it'll be in February when I do my March report, but I just wanted to acknowledge that because, you know, you're going to have eclipses in um, Virgo, but you're also going to have it in Pisces, and you've already had one in September, and that's a fellow water sign, so you may see some positive developments, and they may even come a month early. You never know. But in terms of the energy in February, we have the Sun and Mercury in your fourth house of home and family in Aquarius. This is Aquarius season as the month begins, and the Sun is there, and Mercury's also there, and this could indicate a lot of focus on the domestic side of life. With Mercury, there might even be some talks, discussions with real estate agents. Mercury can be documents, so there might be maybe you're selling a house or buying a house. The fourth house can be your mother. Some people say the father, so either one of your parents, you may be talking to them more than usual for some reason. And on the 4th of the month, Jupiter goes direct at 11 degrees of Gemini. And this is the house that you rule in astrology, which is the eighth house. So some of you in the last few months may have had problems with issues surrounding inheritance or other forms of money that you're not earning personally, like loans, things of that nature that we're not expanding. This is a growth season for that when Jupiter's in this area. So, or even like a spouse, their money. So when Jupiter goes direct, you can expect that things will start to go in the right direction. The truth is, it's not really about right or wrong because Jupiter has this philosophical, ethical influence, and when it's retrograding, it's all about kind of like going within and reviewing like why you're doing what you're doing, and it could definitely connect with somebody else's money. An example would be, let's say you're getting divorced and you've been really fighting to take half of their I don't know what you call it, their estate or whatever you call it, their earnings. And you think about it and you say, well, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. And it may change your course of action. And it could be a very good thing because you could feel like there's something that's wrong. I'm not doing the right thing. Jupiter is all about growth. So growth can come in many different forms. And one of the ways that this can happen is through looking at things from a bigger picture perspective. So that could be, but just in general, when Jupiter's in the eighth house, this can favor inheritances and all. Jupiter can be about money, and the eighth house is a money house. Also, anything to do with or your partner's income expanding, but also this is the house of personal alchemy, personal transformation, and if you're engaging in some kind of studies, course of studies, or what have you, this could be like very good for you. Maybe you've been kind of going back and forth about, the type of belief system that you have. The eighth house is more open ended. It's more like occultish, Scorpionic versus Sagittarius, which is more like organized religion, the conventional types of religions. But it's really, not, it's like outer and inner. The eighth house is a water house, so it's really about that deep transformation. On the same day, Venus goes into Aries. So you have Venus going into the sixth house, which has a connection to the workplace and the work that you're doing. This Venus is the ruler of the second house. And that has something, and that's your earned income. So when it's in the sixth house, it could indicate like maybe a promotion. Not, well, I mean, it could be a promotion, but I mean like a raise. It could be harmony with coworkers. It could be love in the workplace. Something very harmonizing could take place. Doing something artistic that is involved in your work. On the 12th, we have a full moon at 24 degrees of Leo. So here's another fixed sign like Aquarius. It's the opposite sign of Aquarius. Therefore, it's hitting one of your angular houses, namely the 10th house of career. Full moon in the 10th can be a time of recognition, a time of people seeing you, seeing, your gifts. Maybe you're honored for your gifts. You could be ending a career. And ending a career, yes, it could mean retiring from a particular career, and then that's it in terms of your, career aspirations in this lifetime. Yeah, I guess it could be true. But it could also be true that you are changing careers and you're just done with this particular one. On the 14th, Mercury goes into Pisces, and so we're going to see, when I was talking about the eclipse in Pisces, occurring in September this year, actually, because to be honest with you, the eclipses, did I say, I'm sorry, I think I said something erroneous. The eclipse in Pisces is happening in September. It's going to be a lunar eclipse, but the one in the eclipses in March are going to be in Virgo and Aries. Okay. In February, we're going to have a new moon in Pisces, but it's not going to be an eclipse. So I'm sorry if I was confusing there. This area for you is the fifth house, and it's the house of love and creativity. So I just told you that Venus goes into Aries in your sixth house of work on the 4th, and now we have these planets that are going into your fifth house that has to do with creativity. So Mercury here can be, but it also has to do with love. So, when Mercury, I always think of communication. It could be communicating with somebody who you are showing an interest in, for instance. And on the 18th, the sun goes into this area as well, and that can be very romantic and a creative time. And don't forget that you also have Saturn and Neptune in this sector, and I want to tell you something. If Saturn and Neptune both are going into Aries, into your sixth house, but they're going to go back into this fifth house as the year ends because of retrogrades. So they're still going to hang around in the fifth house for a while. Now, this is a general reading, so I'm just speaking in a general way. But the reason I say this is if you are a Scorpio, sun or ascendant, who really feels that your path in life is to be an artist, and you feel like it is something that is eluding you in some way. Maybe you don't take it seriously, take your talent seriously, you doubt yourself, or maybe you feel like it just isn't something that you can make a living with. First of all, understand that you can start taking steps in that direction and have a day job. That would probably be the most, the safest, less, least disruptive way of kind of transitioning into relying on, art. And, some people, they are very unrealistic, and so they do the exact opposite, and then they just quit their day job, and then they're like, well, damn, I thought my I thought my paintings were going to just sell immediately, and they never had tested it. They'd never tried it online to see if they were going to get that traffic, that foot traffic online. And of course, some people might sell in person. I don't know, but I'm just saying, um, you can make a living doing that, but you have to be strategic. You have to, and so it might pay to really research and see how other people are doing it. And there might be some certain things that you have to implement in order to have consistent sales. I know one woman, she created a comic book for adults. It was actually like, a coloring book, I should say, for adults. And that funded her more serious work. This was kind of like a whimsical, fun thing, but it sold enough copies where, consistently, where she could rely on that money for her monthly needs. Even that, might take a bit of work to get to that stage. So it pays to, do your research, but also do your art. And so that's what you still have a window of opportunity for that. Of course, you always do. You can do it at any time in your life, but I'm just saying in that, with these particular transits, because Saturn here can really make an artist take their work seriously, turn a hobby into a career, and implement create a foundation, because that's how you have this predictable income stream. Because when you're selling paintings, you can't predict how many you're going to sell every week. But if you have something else that is, or maybe even like a subscription service, or you're teaching art or something, where you know that you can get like a steady income. And then Neptune here is just very good for inspiration, for love. It's great for the spiritual. Actually, for love, Saturn makes you much less inclined to just have fun. This is a house of pleasure. But when Saturn is here, you're all business. You really want that love relationship. The relationship sector is the seventh house. This is the house that is the jump off point where you meet somebody, you're dating them, and you fall in love. On the 23rd or 24th, depending on where you live, Mars goes direct at 17 degrees of Cancer. And this is another trine, but it's in the opposite direction. So it's in the ninth house, which is the house of what we would call the higher mind, higher education, long distance travel. And when Mars is transiting the ninth, a person may be feeling very, and I'm talking about when it's direct, I mean, maybe feeling like they have, what's that called, wanderlust? And that kind of thing can be, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's not just about restlessness. You may have an opportunity to travel and you take full advantage of it. However, Mars went retrograde in early December, so you may have felt, and it actually, tell you the truth, it actually went um, retrograde in your 10th house of career. So because it went back into the ninth, this may be more connected with your spiritual side of life because you may have realized that you um, were pursuing something that wasn't necessarily aligned to you. Maybe you had to do a bit of soul searching about what really mattered to you. And now that Mars is direct, you can direct your energy again in a forward moving way. It is going to take time for Mars to come out of its shadow, namely until early May, but at least it is starting that movement forward. So perhaps some people were even taking some kind of a long trip. Maybe you were working remotely while you were doing so. And part of it might have been to kind of review everything that you were, wondering about. Should I do this? Should I do that? Because it really is something to think about when you're dealing with these kinds of issues. That can be like taking your life in a whole new direction. On the 27th, we have I was going to say full moon, a new moon at 9 degrees of Pisces in that fifth house of love and creativity. So something new is blossoming. Maybe it's a new creative project or what some people call a passion project. So creativity, people think of paintings or a novel or something like that, but creativity can be the fifth house can be the business that you own. So you may be um, feeling that desire to work on it. And because Mars went retrograde in your career sector, this, certainly would go along with that, where maybe you're like, this outer ambition, this ego driven need to be acknowledged by the world in a certain way, it doesn't serve me. Like, you can have somebody who has a prestigious type of a career, like maybe they're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever people deem, impressive. And they're, completely miserable because they're not doing what they love. I mean, that's sad. That really is sad. So it is important to always, pay attention to what you truly want, what your heart wants for you, instead of, needing to impress the outer world. And this can be a new beginning in that sense of planting that seed of what it is that you want to blossom. And, it could blossom like crazy because you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have a lunar eclipse in September in the same area. And what this can mean is that it just like is like wildfire. It doesn't just blossom, it just takes off like crazy. But we can never guarantee these things. That's why I say, if you do want to start your own business, be realistic. You can dream big, but be realistic at the same time. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.